What's up, everyone? Welcome back to AudioFire, and my name is Peyton James. I'm the founder of AudioFire.co, where I help podcast creators level up their audio. In this video, I'm going to cover my top 4 recommendations for the best podcast hosting platforms. A podcast hosting platform is a place for your uploaded podcast episodes to be stored. Additionally, your podcast hosting platform should enable you to have a feed that distributes all of your episodes to different channels, such as Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and any of the other listening platforms that people listen to podcasts on. All right, so there are actually several different podcast hosting platforms out there, so this is by no means an extensive list. Rather, these are just the ones that I personally have used and recommend for hosting your podcast. There's both free and paid versions that I'm going to talk about on here. So each of them have their own unique features and their own pros and cons, so we're going to dive into that. All right, let's get into it. All right, so just like with websites or investing in gear, it's always important to be future focused if you're serious about podcasting. So it is quite a pain if you hit limitations, if you go the cheap or the free route and you hit limitations, and then you're gonna have to move everything over to something that's gonna be able to handle your podcast. It's always good to think about the future and where you want to have your episodes hosted and stuff like that when you're thinking about a platform for hosting. Definitely go with what's in your budget. Don't stretch yourself too much, but it's also important that it's an important reminder that paying for the ability to handle a successful podcast show might be definitely worth it for you. Don't stretch yourself too far, but definitely pay attention to what type of features might hold you back if you're going with a free version. And, see if there's a platform that you can scale up, different tiers over time that will best suit your show. All right, so my number 1 recommendation is Buzzsprout. So Buzzsprout is the podcast hosting platform that I personally use, and I absolutely love it. And it's very intuitive to use and walks you through the steps of uploading your podcast episode, as well as optimizing it for the best listening experience for your audience. So something that's really cool about Buzzsprout is it's not only something that you can push your episodes onto Apple Podcasts and Spotify and Google Podcasts. You can also get onto a lot of other listening platforms like Amazon Alexa and Amazon Music now, Podchaser, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and Stitcher, and all of these other platforms. So the more platforms that you can get on, obviously the better, because you can get more attention and more traffic that way. Now, as far as getting on these different platforms, within your Buzzsprout interface, you can actually just follow step-by-step instructions that are very easy to follow to get you onto these different platforms that you want your podcast to be on. With a Buzzsprout account, you also have access to a dedicated podcast website. So if you don't have a website for your podcast, you can actually direct people to a website that you can customize and match your branding and colors and all of that. And people can listen to all of your podcast episodes, and you can link your social media and even have, monetization links in there as well. And they look really nice, especially for just coming with your account. If you, like I said, if you don't have a website already, you can use this dedicated website. Now, if you do have a website for your podcast, or you have a blog or something like that, you actually have the ability to have podcast players that you can embed. So these little individual players, if you've ever used a media player like iTunes or Windows Media Player, it looks similar to that. Or if you've ever played a podcast on a website, you know what I'm talking about. But the really cool thing about it is you can customize it. Like I said, with the dedicated website, you can customize your branding and your colors and the look and feel of it. And you can just make it look however you want. And I think that's really cool because it can match your website as well. Another really great pro of Buzzsprout is the analytics that you get that you can view for your podcast episodes. So you can see a breakdown of not just how many downloads you have per day or per episode. You can also see where your audience is listening from. So you can see the different countries and cities around the world where people are listening to your podcast. You can also get a better idea of, what devices people are listening on. So if someone's listening to an iPhone, you can see that. Or if they're using a Mac computer or Windows computer or an Android or tablet, whatever it is, you can see what devices people are using to listen. You can also see which apps they're using. So you can get a better understanding of which apps people are using to listen to your podcast, which is really good information to know. And then you can also see, the lasted 7 days, 30 days, 90 days are all time stats. So there's not like a bunch of complex data. It's actually very straightforward and easy to understand. And I just love that it shows you all of these features that I know the stats are lacking on some of the other platforms that I've used in the past. Also with Buzzsprout, you have the ability to add transcriptions for your podcast episodes, which just makes it easier for people to search for and find your podcast on search engines, which is a really big SEO boost. Just better for discoverability. And then you can also use that transcription on your website for blog posts or show notes. And that just helps with people finding your episodes. Now, transcriptions through Buzzsprout are actually an extra cost. I believe it's 25 cents per minute of audio that you have. But if you can swing the extra cost, it's absolutely worth it to get that added SEO boost. You also have the ability to manage multiple podcasts under a single account. So if you have, 2 or 3 different podcasts, shows, you can manage that all within one account, which is really cool. Now, something to keep in mind is, each podcast that you have, you're going to have an individual plan for each one of those, right? So you can't have 3 podcasts under one paid plan, but you can have multiple podcasts under one account that you can manage. You can also add multiple team members to manage your podcast as well. So you can have, admins come on and change all of the really advanced, like high-end stuff, and control things like the billing and the plan that you're on, or even deleting episodes and things like that. Or you can just have editors come in and they can add episodes and change descriptions and stuff like that, but they can't do anything that will take your show down, or anything that you don't want them to have access to do. Another really great thing is you can monetize through Buzzsprout with affiliate marketing. And they have an affiliate marketplace where you can apply to become an affiliate for a product or a service. And if you use that link and you mention it in the episode, and then you use that link that you get as an affiliate, and people make a purchase using your affiliate link, then you actually get a kickback commission. And that's just another way to monetize your podcast episode. And a lot of hosting platforms require that you have a certain number of subscribers or downloads, a certain audience size or whatever, and you don't have to do that. You can get started right away. Now, you're probably not gonna, make a ton of money if you have a really small audience, but it is a way to get some revenue coming in from your podcast. So another way that you can incorporate monetization through Buzzsprout is through listener support. And so in addition to the share and subscribe buttons that come on a podcast player or your podcast website, they have a support the show button that you can link to any monetization platform of your choice. So if you happen to have a Patreon page or a membership page, or you want to link to a PayPal button or anything like that, where you want to have recurring revenue or just one-time donations, whatever, you can have people click on that link and support your show. So there's really only a couple of downsides of Buzzsprout to keep in mind. And number one is that it is a paid platform. So they do have a free version, but it is extremely limited. And for example, like on the free tier, you're going to have ads that show up on your podcast website. You can only have your episodes hosted for 90 days, and after 90 days they expire and they go away. And then you're only allowed to upload 2 hours of audio each month. It's a great way to give it a try and test it out and see if you like it, but it's definitely not a great way to go if you want a free plan that's going to host your podcast. But if you happen to give it a try and you really like it and you want to upgrade to one of the paid plans, then it's really easy to do, and all of your stuff stays there. It doesn't go away as long as it's within that 90 days, and all your stuff is good to go, and you get upgraded to whatever paid plan that you choose, and you get access to all those features. In my opinion, the paid plans with Buzzsprout are absolutely worth it. I believe the lowest tier at the time of recording this is $12 a month, and with that you get 3 hours of audio that can be uploaded every single month. You get unlimited storage, so your episodes don't go away after 90 days or anything like that. It's as long as you're paying for the plan, you get unlimited storage. You get ads taken off of your podcast website, and you don't have to worry about one of the benefits, in my opinion, you don't have to worry about the file size of your episodes. So certain platforms, they will require that you stay within a certain file size limit, and with Buzzsprout, you just have to stay within a certain time limit of your monthly storage capacity that you have, right? So like I said, with the paid plan, at the $12 a month, you get 3 hours that you can upload. So if you have a shorter show, that can definitely work to your advantage. Another great thing is you don't have to compromise audio quality to compress down the file size in order to get it to fit within the constraints of your storage space, because you get unlimited storage space as long as it fits within those 3 hours of audio. And then another downside, I guess, is that you're only limited to one show for the plan that you're paying for. So if you want to have multiple shows, then you're going to have to pay for separate plans for each one of those shows. However, like I said, you can manage all of your shows under one account, but it is going to get really pricey if you have multiple shows. So you might want to check out some of these other podcast hosting platforms if you happen to have multiple shows. Like I said, this is my personal favorite, and it is the one that I personally use myself. And there's just a ton of great features that you're gonna love as a podcaster, and the analytics are amazing. And so if you're willing to go the paid route, I really highly recommend giving Buzzsprout a shot. And if you go to audiofire.co/Buzzsprout, which I'll link down below as well, then you can try it out and see for yourself if it is right for you. And by using my affiliate link, I do get a little kickback commission for that, but you also get an Amazon gift card. So definitely worth giving it a shot to see if it's right for you. All right, the second platform that I want to recommend is called Anchor.fm. And Anchor is a podcasting platform that enables you to record, edit, and create your podcast, and then distribute it and monetize it from literally any device, including mobile devices. And the best part is it's all for free. There's no paid plans with it. Anchor is also a very easy to understand and intuitive platform to use for recording and hosting your podcast. Now, the main popularity of Anchor, before it was bought out by Spotify, now it's owned by Spotify, but before that it was really popular because it allowed you to record and produce your podcast from your phone or from your computer within the platform itself, so you didn't need any external software in order to do that. And while it's okay to do that, and if you have nothing else, that's a great way to go. But I do recommend investing in some, podcasting equipment and having it be a little bit more polished and professional. Just a little bit of an investment can go a long way. And so I don't recommend just recording on your phone and uploading directly through Anchor. But if you have no other option, Anchor is a great platform for this. Now, like I said, Anchor is actually a completely free platform, so it doesn't have any storage limits, and it doesn't have any tiers that you have to pay for. So if you're committed to going the absolutely free route, then I would highly, highly recommend Anchor as your platform. And now, like I said, Anchor is owned by Spotify, and that makes distributing your podcast to Spotify super easy to do. And then you also, of course, have the ability to distribute your episodes to other directories like Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts as well. Another really cool feature about Anchor is that you can monetize it through sponsorships on the Anchor platform. So Anchor actually does the work for you and matches you with sponsors, and then you can read an ad in your own voice and integrate it into a slot in your show. So you will then be paid based on people listening. There's a CPM rate, which is cost per 1,000 listens. That's determined by the advertiser. And then, say you have a $15 CPM rate, then you will get $15 after 1,000 people have heard your ad. So while that can sound really cool, it may be really tough at the beginning to start putting in ads. And then, you're only going to get pennies, if that, when you're just getting started. I hope you absolutely crush it right out of the gate, but it's just something to keep in mind. It might take a while before you see much revenue coming from that. But another thing to keep in mind is you can add multiple ads or sponsorships within one episode, and then you can do that for every episode that you choose. And so that adds up over time. So if people are listening to your podcast, that's going to add up over time. So just the fact that it is so easy to use and that it's free forever and you don't have any limits as far as storage or anything like that, Anchor is a really, really great platform to use. And I don't personally recommend it as high as Buzzsprout, but it is a great way to get started if you're just at the beginning or you have no budget to work with. All right, number 3 is Libsyn. Now, Libsyn has been around since the early 2000s, and it's a very popular platform for podcast hosting. Back when podcasting was first becoming relevant in the early 2000s, Libsyn was super way ahead of the game when it came to podcast hosting, distribution, and even analytics that you could see about your episodes. And now today they still offer tons of features which might make it a good choice for you, but there are definitely some downsides to be aware of as well. Speaking to the pros, Libsyn enables your podcast to be shared on all of the major podcast directories, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Alexa, and more. And then you also get features such as a dedicated podcasting website, an embeddable podcast player that you can customize, advanced stats and insights, custom episode publishing and optimization, monetization tools, and even a smartphone app if you have one of the more higher advanced plans. Now for monetization on Libsyn, you can actually live read advertisements, or you can have publishers provide a pre-recorded ad to you that you can stitch within your own content. But in order to have advertising on your podcast, you must first have at least 5,000 downloads every single month if you live in the US. When it comes to monetizing on Libsyn, there's no upfront costs for running advertising, but rather you split it 50-50. You split the revenue 50-50 with the advertiser as soon as you receive the payout. So you can also, have the ability to approve which advertisers run on your show, so you're in control of what ads your audience hears. You don't have, competitors getting on there or whatever. You're in control of which ones you want on there. So with Libsyn, the pricing comes in different tiers, and really the major difference between this and a platform like Buzzsprout is that Libsyn's plans are based on file size and storage and not the length of the audio files. So this can be beneficial in some instances, and it can also be very hindering in other instances. So the very low tier, the lowest tier, is that you get 50 megabytes of storage each month for $5 a month, and then tack on $2 a month for basic analytics if you'd like that, which I highly recommend if you're going to use a podcasting platform to have analytics that you can see. And then it just jumps up based on file size and storage, and then adds on a few more features as well. So you can do, like I said, the 50 megabytes for $5 a month. You can do 250 megabytes of storage for $15 a month with analytics included. You can also do 400 megabytes of storage a month for $20 a month. And then you get advanced analytics as well as Android and iOS apps. And then same with the 800 megabytes of storage for $40 a month. Now there are also plans with more storage available, such as 1500 megabytes of storage for $75 a month, 3000 megabytes of storage for $150 a month, and even bigger plans if you're doing enterprise level pricing or things like that. They have what's called Libsyn Pro. So all of these plans come with a custom domain instead of a Libsyn domain for an extra $2 a month. So you can have, your own website like the AudioFirePodcast.com instead of AudioFirePodcast.libsyn.com, for example. The more advanced and higher end plans also have the ability to use a premium content paywall, which means that only people that are paying to have access to certain content, you can make that especially available for them behind a paywall. So that's just another form of revenue that you can have as well. Now, Libsyn is a bit more technical, and it's not as user-friendly in my opinion as Buzzsprout. And it may be actually cheaper at first, or if you're not uploading a bunch of episodes or long episodes, it may actually be cheaper at first, but as the prices go up, you're going to pay a lot more for the features that you need. However, it may be exactly what you need, and you should give it a try and see if it's right for you. All right, and last but not least is number 4, which is Soundcloud. Now, Soundcloud is a wildly popular audio platform that I believe started in the mid-2000s and just has so many different users, but it's definitely a well-known app where people are searching and finding music and podcasts. One of the biggest draws for using SoundCloud is that it's absolutely free to use, but there is a limit on storage. So you got to keep in mind that SoundCloud was more so created for musicians. So the storage limitations might make sense for, people uploading music, but it wouldn't make sense for people consistently uploading longer form content like podcasts, right? So with the free plan on SoundCloud, you get a total of 3 hours total, not per month, that's total, that you can store on there. Like I said, that's more understandable for musicians. That's, that could be like 3 albums worth of stuff, right? But when it comes to podcasting, that might just be 3 to 5 episodes of your podcast. So, right away, you're going to have to think about upgrading to a paid plan. With the free plan, you also get access to basic statistics and basic embedding controls on the podcast player. So like I said, because it's more built for musicians and producers and things like that, podcasting is not what the vast majority of people are looking for when it comes to searching for content on SoundCloud. And additionally, there are some really cool paid features that you can get as a creator on SoundCloud, but they're only available for music. They're not available for podcasters, which kind of sucks. So for example, the monetization platform that they have is only available to musicians and it's not available to podcasters. But there are still plenty of ways to, monetize your own content off of SoundCloud, affiliate marketing or ads and sponsorships or things like that, but you can't utilize their monetization program. Now, the paid plan on SoundCloud gives you unlimited podcast hosting. It's easy to share and interact with fans within the platform. You get embeddable podcast players with the more advanced embedding controls and features to make it more customizable and look more like how you want it. You get the ability to replace tracks without losing stats. So that's something that actually Buzzsprout does too, where if you needed to make a change to an episode, or you needed to take something out or add something in or change up something that was recorded in that episode, you can actually go and create your new version of it and go and replace the audio track, and it will keep all of your stats and all of the play counts and downloads and demographics and all those stats. They don't go away because you don't delete it, you just replace the audio file. So that's really cool. SoundCloud allows you to do that with their paid plan. You have the ability to schedule your episode releases and the ability to turn on and off comments and stats with something called quiet mode. You can promote your episodes on SoundCloud itself, and you also get access to Repost by SoundCloud at no additional cost, which is one of these features that I say is for musicians, where you can distribute and monetize your music and keep 80% of the revenue, and SoundCloud takes 20%. But like I said, this is only available for music artists and producers and not podcasters, but with the paid plan you get access to that. So the paid plan, which is called SoundCloud Pro Unlimited, is priced at $16 a month or $144 a year, which if you're paying for a year up front, that's $12 a month. So the exact same as the lowest tier on Buzzsprout, but you do get unlimited hosting. You're not confined to 3 hours of audio. So if you're dead set on using the SoundCloud platform and you really like the community there and you really like the way it's set up, then you'll want to use the Pro plan if you're doing podcasting. You also can try it for 30 days and they'll give you a money back guarantee if you're not satisfied with the Pro plan, so that's pretty cool. But like I said, honestly, in my personal opinion, if you're going to be paying that for hosting, then I highly recommend Buzzsprout, because you're just going to get so many awesome features specifically for podcasting that you don't get with SoundCloud. So just to wrap things up, what we've gone over, Buzzsprout is definitely my highest recommendation for podcast hosting. Like I said, you get so many features that are specifically designed for podcasting, and you have the ability to distribute so many directories, and it's just really easy and intuitive to use, and their paid plans are just worth more than the price you pay. You get so much bang for your buck with it. So again, you can use my affiliate link, audiofire.co/Buzzsprout, to get started with Buzzsprout today. Anchor FM is definitely the way to go if you're needing to keep your hosting absolutely free, or you have a long show and you can't afford the hosting fees for longer shows, or you have multiple shows and you just need to go a free route. Anchor is a great way to go. And if you're using mobile devices, or you don't have the ability or the time to put in for higher quality production, or you don't have the ability to use other audio software, then you can produce all your stuff with Anchor, which is really cool. And then, as I mentioned before, you have the ability to monetize through the sponsorships that they match you up with on Anchor, and they'll pay you out some cash with every 1,000 listens that you get. So Anchor FM, definitely a great way to go if you're just getting started. And then number 3 was Libsyn, and Libsyn has tons of great features for podcasting. And like I said, it's a little bit more old school and more technical and not quite as user-friendly in my opinion. And then, the pricing plans can skyrocket as you need more and more features or as your show grows. But it's definitely not a bad way to go at all. And like I said, you can stitch it in or do live reads for sponsorships and ads, as well as the paywall for, premium content if you want to go that route. And especially if you have like a really large show, or you're producing podcasts for a really large company, that's a great way to go as well. There's tons of people that use Libsyn and continue to use them and love them. And so it's definitely worth checking out. Like I said, Buzzsprout's my favorite, but Libsyn's a great platform as well. And then finally, number 4 was Soundcloud, which is a great platform for tapping into a really massive user base and community there. And their embeddable podcast player functionality is just really, really awesome and pretty seamless in my experience. And, like I said, you can get started for free and try it out with their limited features, and then upgrade to their SoundCloud Pro Unlimited plan, which gives you all of those advanced features. So for your next steps, be sure to go to AudioFire.co, and I'll link that in the description below. That is my website and blog where you can learn more about podcast production and audio production tips, and you can also learn how we can work together to level up your podcast's audio. All right, thanks so much for watching this video, and I will catch you in the next one. And until next time, keep making waves. Take care.